How you doing? How you doing? Where you checking in from, Asia? And how did you find out about the webinar? That's the two questions I have. Where you checking in from and how did you find out about the webinar? Let me know. I'm in Georgia, about 30 minutes west of Atlanta. So I'm in the city of Douglasville, about 30 minutes west of Atlanta. And I moved here about a year ago from Chicago, but I'm born and raised in Chicago. Oh, from Raquel. Oh, okay. Oh, you from Atlanta? Okay, so what part? What part are you in? So I'm new here. I've been here about a year. So I'm still learning and getting to know the different neighborhoods, and it's just because Chicago is different. Like it has a lot of suburbs, but Chicago itself is pretty big. But I see we have more people on here. Let me know where you're checking. Oh, near East Point. Okay. I actually know where that is because that's not far from the airport, if I remember correctly. I know a little bit about a little bit. I'm still learning, but I hope you are ready for today. This is not, we're not here to give you a presentation where you're just going to sit here and listen to me. We're going to have interactive. This is not a one-woman show. Oh, that's your daughter. Oh, hi, Asia. I mean, I know I said hi to you before. It's different now. And I know you her daughter. Hey, Raquel, how you doing? But yeah, so today is going to be, I want you to look at it like it's a money conversation. So I don't want you to look at it like it's me talking at you. We're just going to have a conversation about money. I'm going to show you some videos, different things. We're going to talk about it. Feel free to comment, ask questions. At the end, though, I am going to have a Q&A session for you to ask whatever questions that you do have. Hey, Latoya. So Latoya has like a candle company, and I ordered some of her steamers and candles. So yes, this is part 2. The first one was the Money Moves webinar, and it was on July 30th. Now I can give you the link to it. Like if you like, I could drop the link to the first one. But it was on July 30th. And that one was about budgeting. It was about looking at the things that you currently do that might be self-sabotaging your finances. It talked about, okay, so let me do that now while we're waiting for other people to join. I'll go and look for that link for you. But how are y'all doing today? Are y'all doing good? It's been a very busy day for me, but I'm not mad at it because after today, I will be like focused on some things. Hold on, because it's gonna start playing. Oh, it didn't. Very good. Thank you. Videos. So where is the link to it? That's so crazy. I posted so much. It's like, when was it? So no, it was a live. That's why it is. It's different. It wasn't. Okay, so here we go. Here goes the link right here. Share, grabbing the link now. Okay, so got the link. I'm coming back. I'm gonna. Oh, it sucks that you got a migraine. So here is the link. I'm dropping the link in the comments to the first part of the series. No, it doesn't matter because I just dropped the link to the first one. It's not a series in a sense that like in school where you have a prerequisite where you have to take the first one. Both of them are applicable. Both of them will work for both. This one is talking about like introduction to investing and looking at a lot of the different marketing tools that are out there that make you spend. So you'll still gain a lot of knowledge from this one. So they're kind of, even though it's like that first one and this one is beyond the bills, they're both kind of intertwined. You can take them in any order. You don't necessarily need to take one before the other. So you're good. You're still good. I promise you're still going to learn something. And you can let me know at the end how you feel or what you feel about it. But at this point, I'm thinking, I'm trying to see who else we got in here because it looks like we got more people in here. Let us know where you're tuning in from, how you're doing today. Like, come in. Let's talk. We're going to have a conversation about money today. I don't know about you all. Okay, good. Yeah. And if you need the link again, just let me know. But do you all ever pop up with random bumps on your face? Like where did it come from? Oh, hi, Asia. Knee sleep by way of LV. LV, what is LV? North Carolina by way of, I don't know what LV is. I'm sorry, Latoya. I'm being real slow right now. North Carolina by way of LV. Girl, help me out. And watch you gonna say it, and I'm like, duh, Las Vegas, duh. Girl, was so far from my mind. So far from my mind. But okay, let's go ahead. Let's get into it and get started for today. Oh, it looked like somebody dropped. But we're gonna get started, and then when they come back, they can jump in. And anybody else who comes after, I want to respect your time, and we do have a lot of things to cover today. So I want to go ahead and we can get started. So I'm just gonna do a brief intro, and then we'll get into it. Welcome. So welcome to the Beyond the Bills webinar. And today we're going to focus on looking at overcoming our money mistakes. We're going to look at some of the marketing tactics that help us make money mistakes. So just really letting you know that it's not all in your head. There is a conspiracy to make you spend money. There is a team, a system set up to encourage you to spend. So don't feel like you need to beat yourself up about it when you find yourself and you might spend more than you should. And then we're going to talk about investing. So basically how to shift that mindset from spending that money into leveraging that money to create a better life for ourselves in the future. So I'm glad that everybody is here. This webinar is going to dive into some real conversations about money. Some of them might be conversations that you've had before. They might be conversations that you haven't. But I promise by the end of this session, you're going to walk away feeling empowered. You're going to walk away having the ability to take control of your finances in a whole new way. And just to give you a brief snippet about me, I talk about these things because I've been there. I talk about these things because I've been at a point where I was so frustrated with my money. I felt overwhelmed, and I felt like my money was literally slipping through my fingers, no matter how hard I worked or how many promotions I got, or just how many ways I felt like I was trying to get ahead. It's like the money, like I had butterfingers, you know? And so that's why I'm so passionate about what I do and creating safe spaces like this, where we can talk openly about money and nobody's going to get judged and there's no shame associated with any of it or confusion. Because the reality is sometimes people avoid their finances because they're ashamed. Sometimes people avoid that they have something to deal with or wanting to deal with because they're like, oh, well, you know, what are they going to think of me? Or, you know, what are people going to say? Or I should be in this place by now. And I was supposed to have this and all of those things. And so it makes you avoid having that conversation with yourself because it takes a lot of vulnerability. It takes a lot of just literally looking in the mirror and being open and honest with yourself. And sometimes that's a very hard step. Like, we're going to keep it real. I did have a webinar on July 30th called the Money Moves webinar. If you haven't caught that one, feel free. You can go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to catch that one. It was on July 30th. I did drop the link to that in the chat. Somebody asked for it. I planned on dropping it anyway, so it worked out perfectly. But tonight we're talking about going beyond the bills. So not just about paying bills. We're not here just to work and pay bills and die. We're going to shift the focus away from that constant struggling of making ends meet. And we're going to start thinking about how we can leverage that money. Okay, how we can invest it wisely and build real wealth. So it's not your average money talk. It's a little bit something different here, but feel free to grab a notepad or take notes in your phone, get your favorite drink, and get ready. So we can talk about it. Okay. Now, jumping right off the bat and being honest and getting into the conversation, we've all been taught certain things about money. We all have certain things mentally that we already think about money, relationships that we have with money. Many of us have grown up hearing, oh, money is the root of all evil. And that's something that we've taken with us. So we have a negative connotation associated with wealth or anybody who is wealthy. Some of us have grown up that money has always escaped us. So we feel scarcity when it comes to our finances. So we're fearful of making certain decisions because we're fearful of being broke. We're fearful of losing all of our money. Some of these things might have been handed down to us from our family, some of it from society, from watching TV, just looking at the norms and looking at what other people are doing. And some of them we've built ourselves from our own experiences in life or our own traumas that we have experienced. And so for most of us, these are old ways of thinking. And these ways of thinking sometimes keep us stuck. These ways of thinking sometimes keep us in a constant, I call it a professional juggler, like keep us in a constant state of we're just working to pay the bills, just working to get the bills paid. Like we're paying the bills, but we're still stressing over our finances, but we're wondering why we still end up in this same cycle and things are not changing. Okay. So it's time to move on from some of those old habits. It's time to start releasing some of those old mindsets that are in your way. So we're trying to get rid of the old way that we do things and get something new. Because if we're still in a state of frustration, we're still in this time of overwhelm, what needs to be changed? Something has to change because we want different results. We're not in this to keep the same results and stay in that same stuck place. Okay. Building wealth and leveraging what you already have is a very important step to taking control of your future. So this shift is not about just learning tips and tricks. It's about finding an entire new way to approach how you use your money. And that's why we're here. That's what we're here to talk about. So as we go through the webinar, I want you to look at this picture and I want you to think about this picture. Old way, switching to a new way. Okay. Keep this image in your mind. We're letting go of the old and we making a way for the new. Now, the question that I know you might be looking at me and saying is, why me? Why me? Why should you listen to me? So before we get any deeper into the content, I want to take a moment to share with you why I'm so passionate about this subject and why I am so committed to helping people get their finances in order and why I've dedicated my career, my free time, and my business to financial education and wellness. Because it's important to know that financial education and financial wellness are two different things, but they go together real bad. Real bad. So over the years myself, I have coached and worked with and taught and given workshops to hundreds of women, sometimes individuals, sometimes in group settings, but all of them with the common mission, helping and guiding them to breaking free from their own financial stress, helping them build real wealth. And wealth is what it looks like to them. Because sometimes people might think that wealth means, oh, I have a lot of money. A lot of money won't necessarily make you wealthy, in my opinion. Wealthy is control over your time. Wealthy is being able to do some things that you love without having to watch the clock. And some of you might not realize some of the wealth that you currently have right now. Okay. I've been featured in several media outlets like Nerd Wallet and Go Banking Rates and Yahoo Finance. And being featured and quoted and being looked at as an expert in the field of personal finance. I've led workshops. I've worked with organizations like Google and the city of Evanston to help them build and structure their own financial wellness programs and to have important discussions. And the thing that I feel that sets me apart in my commitment is I'm here to make it more interactive. This is an engaging, and we're going to give practical examples. We're going to give practical solutions and practical steps that you can take. We're not going to have this high level conversation full of jargon and full of investment terms. We're going to break it all the way down. And if you feel at any point that I'm not, and you have more questions, always feel comfortable to drop those questions in the chat. Even if I don't answer them in the middle of the session, I promise you, before I get off this screen, I will answer your questions, because that's the difference. And that's what we want, because that's what's needed in order for us to take that step and actually turn the knowledge into action. Because people always say, oh, knowledge is power. I don't think that knowledge is power, because a lot of people have knowledge, including myself, that they're not putting to use. So how is it powerful just by holding on to the knowledge and keeping it in your back pocket? Like, come on. Like, it's not. So yes, Asia, this is being recorded. And it will be available for you to view later to answer your question. Okay. So the moral of the story is, this isn't just a job for me. This is my mission to help people transform their relationship with money. And I've seen it firsthand, how powerful it can be. I've seen the transformations. I've seen the aha moments. And it's powerful because with the right tools, that's what makes the difference. Money is just a tool. Money is a tool that is here for you to use to help you achieve your goals. Now, as I said, I've coached a lot of women. I've worked with a lot of women. And over the years, after talking with them and asking that question of what their current relationship with money is, these pictures depict what I usually get as a description. They might not look like this, but what they describe to me looks just like these pictures that you see. Okay. They're frustrated. Like I keep saying, they're overwhelmed. They feel like they don't have a means to an end. They feel like their goals are unachievable, and they just don't even understand where they would even start to accomplish them. I've heard it over and over again. And hell, I've been there myself. Like, that's why I'm here. I've had times where I was wondering which bill was going to get paid. I was wondering and dodging bill collector calls. I was avoiding opening mail, avoiding emails, just deleting them without opening them, thinking that that would somehow make the issue go away, or just in a state of not being able to really do anything because every single time I get paid, my money is gone. So, but the thing is, when I started working with individuals, and even in my own experience, it wasn't until I reached a tipping point that I made the decision, like, okay, this can't be it. This is not going to be for me. This is not the life that I am accepting for myself. And so I'm going to do something about it. And so when you get to that point and you get to that tip of the iceberg, you have to start to think about, what was I taught about money? What was I taught to even think about money? Okay. And we have been taught to let money control us. I'm a money chaser. Instead of a money magnet, we were taught to chase money. Okay. Instead of putting that energy out there that I'm a money magnet. And we have to learn that now we have to take control of our money instead of letting it control us. We're focused on getting the bills paid. We forget to even ask ourselves bigger questions. Like, why am I back in this same space that I was before? I've had customers that they work to pay off their bills, they work to budget, and they might do well for a period of time, but then soon they go back to the same problems. And it's like, well, what is it? And this happens a lot when I have people who do things like they might borrow money from their 401k, or they might use a big lump sum of money to pay something off, but they never corrected their relationship with money. They never had a conversation to correct the money habits that created the debt that they're paying off. And so that's where we got to start to do something different. And these are typically things that we just didn't know. We just didn't learn about these things. We didn't have these conversations. A lot of us, our parents were living in survival mode. So they really didn't have the opportunity to get this knowledge to us. They was just trying, okay, you got clothes, okay, you got a roof, okay, you know what I mean? Like, that's where their mindset was at that time. So what habits are keeping you stuck is a question you got to ask yourself. What mindsets do you have that are holding you back from breaking free from debt, financial stress, and stopping you from building the wealth that you really want? So it's not only about, okay, let me just make it through this month and we'll be all right. It's shifting the way that you handle your money so you can stop the overwhelm and you can start taking control. Okay. So it's a bigger issue at play, and it's something that I don't realize that I don't feel like we realize it. By recognizing it, acknowledging it, confronting it, looking in the mirror, having that real conversation with yourself and seeing where your money really is, that's when you start to make the real changes. Because when you have that eye-opening conversation to really look at where you are compared to where you're trying to be, I first wanted to ask you to give yourself grace. That's the first thing I'm going to ask of you. Like, somebody type it in the chat, give myself grace. That's the first thing I need you to do. I need you to give yourself grace and understand that maybe you didn't know what to do. And just because you didn't get to this certain point or you didn't accomplish this, it's okay. It's all right. And once you get over that hump and you accept that, and you accept that you're not the only one who makes mistakes, you're not the only one who didn't get it perfect the first time. I mean, looking at women as a whole, when we couldn't even get bank accounts until 1974. So the Equal Credit Opportunity Act in 1974 is what gave us the ability to have credit cards and bank accounts in our name. So how are you supposed to be an expert already when your parents were probably just getting access to have those things? So they didn't even have time to become an expert, let alone teach you how to become one. So give yourself some grace, okay? Give yourself some grace. We already too hard on ourselves. We don't need nobody else beating us up. So we got to stop beating ourselves up too. Okay. Now I want you to watch this video and let's see if this video captures how we feel about bills and how we feel about our debt right now. Because for me, I know I felt like.
Woo! Let's go. Hell no.
Now, has anybody else ever felt like that? Has anybody ever felt like that? Because I know I have. Hell, I still feel like that sometimes today. I get paid, and as soon as I get paid, it's like everybody right there, like, yep, we got paid. I posted a picture about that the other day, and it was a picture of Debo, and it was like, I get paid. And then Debo was like, Debo was supposed to be representing your bills. And he was like, no, I got paid. And that's literally what it is, like being an adult. Exactly. I know I still do, you know, money expert or not, life is life. Life gonna always keep life in. So this is a feeling that many of us have felt, and you just it's defeating. It's defeating, it's deflating, it's discouraging, all the D's, okay? And it's like you feel like you've worked so hard and you're doing so much and you're doing all the things, but now you have nothing left at the end of the day. Just like the guy in the video, he was negative by the end of the day. Yeah, his bills was paid. Yeah, he got a roof over his head, all his, but he hadn't even ate yet. He hadn't even ate any food yet. So I don't know what he gonna do to eat because his bills came and took everything from him. So this is where we are, and we want to get past this. And so, like I said, give yourself grace. One of the first things that we're gonna talk about is these two words right here: guilt and avoidance. So, one of the things when we already have that situation and we get paid and our check is swallowed up, I call it got your paycheck in the chokehold. We feel guilty. We feel guilty because society, social media, possibly your parents, family members, friends, and even yourself has told you you're supposed to have certain things accomplished by now. They've told you that you were supposed to have this done. And because you set this goal for yourself, that means that it had to be accomplished. And, you know, I have these people dependent on me, and all of the different expectations that you have laid upon yourself or has been laid on you by others, you now feel guilty because you weren't able to live up to these expectations. And you shouldn't, because at the end of the day, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not bionic. I am only but human with two hands, two arms, and two legs. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I can show up with. I can't show up with any more. And so when we have this guilt, it leads us sometime into the avoidance. Into the avoidance. I start my monthly budget already in the negative and spend the month looking for extra. Guilty, I feel like I'm back. Exactly. Exactly. And what I want you all to understand is that unfortunately, it's not unnormal. It's not, you're not on an island, you're not by yourself. Me personally, as I went through my own financial struggles, and I lost my house, I've been evicted, I've done a lot of things, because I had a child very early and I didn't know anything about money. So I was just out here, y'all, just out here all willy-nilly. And so once I bought my first house and then I turned around and lost it, I felt guilt. I felt ashamed. I suffered in silence because I felt like if I told somebody, I would be a burden to them. I felt like they would be ashamed of me. I felt like they would look down on me and they would talk about me like, oh, you just had a house. Look what happened now. Probably shouldn't have bought one. Like, you know how people be. And I was young at the time. So I just suffered in silence and I dealt with it all on my own. Like I was on an island and nobody else was experiencing that. So that's when I was experiencing that, just avoiding the real money issue that I had. I had a scarcity mindset from growing up poor and living without. I had different problems with being the youngest, where I had never really had anything to myself. So I had things that I had to work through in order for me to actually get to the person I am now. And if you talk to people who know me now and the way I am about my money and my budget, baby, they would not believe that I was the woman that I used to be before, because I am changed. I am delivered. Okay, you hear me? So when I talk about these things, I'm not just, saying them out of thin air. I've been there. I've experienced them. And so I know how it feels. But unfortunately, when we have this guilt that causes us to avoid it, it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make it erase. It doesn't make it go into thin air. In fact, a lot of times it gives it time to build up to get even bigger. A lot of times it gets worse while we're avoiding it. Okay. So stopping, not checking your accounts, not looking at your credit card bill, ignoring the bills as they pile up, and then you try to push it to the side because facing it feels like a burden. Facing it feels heavy. Facing it feels like a weight on your chest. And guilt and avoidance are things that keep you stuck because you can't get over the mountain unless you look and see where you're going. How are you supposed to get to the other side if you never open your eyes to look? If you walking on the mountain with your eyes closed, baby, you're going to fall off. So you have to have that step. You have to get rid of that guilt and get rid of that avoidance. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Nobody's here to say that, oh, it's really easy. You all can do it. It's a process. But you have to take that first step if you want to make it through the process. Okay? So these are the type of things that keep you stuck and help you avoid, because now you're traveling and you're operating out of fear. You're making decisions based on fear instead of making decisions based on your goals. Okay? So the more we avoid it, the worse it gets. And then the guilt just keeps piling up, and your guilt going to be as high as the mountain. But see, that's why we came here. You didn't come here today to stay stuck. You came here because you're ready to let go of that guilt. We're starting to move forward. We're not avoiding these conversations because we're having this conversation right now. Okay. We're going to face it head on, and you're going to own your money story, because the important thing to think about when it comes to your money story is you have the pen. What has happened up to this point is a part of your story, but it's not the end of your story, because you have the pen to keep writing. It's your story. Who gonna write it better than you? Okay. So let's leave the guilt behind. We had to address it. We had to talk about it. We had to deal with the elephant in the room. Now let's go past it. Let's talk about some of the mistakes that we make that cause us to carry that guilt. Okay. So impulse shopping. Impulse shopping is basically you see something that catch your eye, and before you know it, it's at checkout. If I thought about a burger right now, I could order it and it would be here by the time I finish talking. That's what impulse shopping is, because you don't even have the time to think about if you should be making this purchase. And that's their goal. That's the whole reason and purpose why they're creating things the way that they are. When you walk in the store, they put certain things at your eye level. They've studied the statistics of the average height of a person. They've studied the statistics of the buying habits. If you don't have a budget, I guarantee you the department stores have a budget, and they are watching it and spending it so they can watch what you do, so they can encourage you to spend more money. We all know not having a budget, because you can't manage money and you don't know where it's at or where it's going. She said, well, it works because they got me 2-day me. So yes, exactly. Oh, we're going to talk about your friend Prime. We're going to talk about them. But not having a budget, because it's hard for you to manage and take control of something that you don't know is there, and you don't know what it is, and you don't know what you have. It's hard. So ignoring small amounts. And ignoring small amounts goes both ways. Ignoring small amounts goes in spending, because it's really easy to brush off, oh, I just spent $5. Or I just spent, it's just, or like go into Dollar Tree. How fast can you spend some money in Dollar Tree because you think everything is $1.25? I'm so used to saying $1. It adds up. But the same way it adds up when you're spending, it adds up when you're investing. So don't think that you got to have a huge amount of money. I asked a question online on Monday and asked people, well, what's one of the money myths that you've dispelled and you no longer operate under? And they said that they thought that they needed a lot of money to start investing. You can start investing with $5, $10, $20, $25. The amount that you are investing to start out with is not as important as you taking the action. So starting to save early, starting to invest early, your savings are your seed money to wealth. If you want to invest, you want to start a business, you need professional development, you want to buy a house, all of those things you will need money to do. So saving, even if it's a small amount, is going to add up. The same way you walk in Target and you plan to get one thing and you walk out spending $200, but you only got 3 bags. That's the same way that money can add up when you're investing it. It's all about mindset. It's all about how you think. And last but definitely not least on this slide is lifestyle creep. And basically, lifestyle creep basically means that you say you got a promotion coming up or it's bonus season and you already spent that bonus money. Oh, well, I know I'm getting a bonus, so I'm gonna upgrade my phone because, or oh, I know I'm getting a bonus, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these shoes on my credit card and then I just pay them off when I get my bonus. That's lifestyle creep because what you're doing is you're spending the new money coming in. You've been living off the money that you have, and now this new money is coming in. And instead of taking it and using it to improve your situation, your mind tells you, oh, I got more money to spend. I got extra money. So these are the type of things that you do. And as you consistently do it, now that you got the raise, it don't even feel like you got a raise no more. Okay. Now, that's how they get you. So that's how they get you is because these are the things that are set up to make you spend. So here go your Amazon Prime right here. Here go your Amazon Prime. One click buying. They make it seem like it's a convenience for you. You know, they're here to help you and make your shopping experience more wonderful. When reality, all they're doing is making it easier for you to spend money for them and giving you less time to think about it. They're not trying to make nothing nice for you. They really trying to make it nice for you to spend. That's what they're doing. And subscriptions, the gym subscriptions and different things, they count on you not using them. They literally have calculated a statistic of how often you're not going to use it. Because if they actually had all the people that they sold gym memberships to in the gym, we wouldn't fit. Like, let's keep it real. Fees. When it comes to fees, you want to watch out with fees in your retirement accounts. Watch out with fees when you are late on any payment, opening the bank accounts, all of those things. The fees make a difference because fees is taking your money from you. So you want to be mindful of what fees are associated with whatever you are doing. And then the budget busting aisles. So I saw somebody say something. So Latoya say, and she said, I'm guilty with impulse shopping, especially if it's a good sale. Okay, she say, Amazon, TikTok shop, and TJ Maxx when I feel like a treat yourself moment. Okay, so Latoya, I want to change that mindset. Why can't your treat yourself moment put extra money in your investment account or your brokerage account? Why can't your treat yourself moment be that you put more money in your emergency account? So these are the type of mindset shifts that you got to make. And when you talk about what you feel you deserve to be financially stable. You deserve to be comfortable. You deserve to be able to have money invested for you. Oh, a good sale. No. A good sale does not necessarily mean you saving money. If you didn't plan on spending that money when you left out and that money wasn't in your budget, you did not save $50, you spent $200. Because it's not tangible. When you want to treat yourself, you want something important. Exactly. That's exactly what it is, Raquel. That's exactly what it is. And that's why it takes a mindset shift. And that's exactly why it takes something mental, because we feel the need to have something like, oh, look, I got this. I deserve this. But the reality is that's temporary. It doesn't last as long, and it doesn't help us get to what the feeling is that we really want. So you're looking for that temporary relief, and you're looking for that, aha moment, but it's fleeting. No, I'm sorry, fleeting. It's fleeting because it's not going to last that long. Because you're going to get it and then it's going to be over and the hoopla going to be over. And since you brought up TJ Maxx, the toy, it's a pivot. Yes, exactly. It's not instant gratification. And learning how to be okay in being uncomfortable and learning how to accept delayed gratification will change your money story. And again, these are not things that happen overnight, but this is just me making you aware of mindset shifts that you can make that will change your life. So since you brought up TJ Maxx, it's already in my presentation. Anybody recognize this aisle? Did anybody recognize this aisle? This is the budget busting aisle. So this right here, this section right here that you got to walk through before you get to the register, It is all a ploy against you. It is all a ploy against you. And I would even be inclined to say that they purposely only have one person on the register to make you have to stand into this line for an even longer time to make you spend more money. Because if you go through this line really quick, then guess what? You're not going to spend as much money, are you? You're going to get through that line, you're going to get to the register and go. So I think they purposely keep only two people at the register because this makes this line always be long, always long. Every time I go in TJ Maxx, this line is long. TJ Maxx, Ross, Burlington, all of them. All of them. Yeah, because by the time you get to the register, you bought 2 extra. Exactly. These are the things. So you need to go through this aisle with blinders on. Baby, look at the cashiers. Look at your phone. Look somewhere. Don't look at these things. Okay? The next one. Now, this is from my own credit card. They say earn $10 statement credit if I spend $100. So let me get this straight. If I spend $100, and then that sounds good because it's like if I was going to spend $100 already, then yeah, that sounds like a great plan. I was going to spend $100 anyway, so I'm going to get $10 on the $100 I spent. But if your money habits are not good and you don't have the discipline to make sure you put that $100 back on your credit card, guess what? This is a trap. And this is something they're going to use to get that interest off you because you might spend that $100 and then pay your $10 minimum payment fee. And now you done paid them $300 in interest by the time you finally pay that $100 off. Yes, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point of what I mean. Next up, rewards programs. Those reward programs and the way they have them set up so that you get a discount if you're a reward member, it's all a ploy to be able to watch and log your spending and log your values and log what you're interested in. That's the whole point of them. They put it in a way that make it seem like they're trying to help you, but you don't think they can give you those discounts without being a rewards member? It's also they can track what you're doing so they can market the right things to you and they can keep tracking what you're doing. And here go my favorite right here, this free shipping. So again, this is from my own life. Add $13.75 more to your cart for free standard shipping. How many of y'all go for this one? Yep, because I know I always check out what's in the row. See, that's how they get you. And they have every part, me. So, me too. Because they know people don't like to pay for free shipping. So look at this. They say add $13.75 in order for you, $13.75 in order for you to get free shipping. But guess how much free shipping is? $3.99. And so this is another mindset shift because while I understand that we don't like to pay for shipping, but what's the likelihood that we only gonna spend $13.75 when we go get that to try to get our free shipping? What's the likelihood that that's all you're gonna spend? You're gonna go spend more. You're going to go spend more money when you go try to find that $13. And what's the likelihood you're gonna find exactly $13.75? So let's just say you're gonna go spend $25 because you're gonna go see more things you like, and now you're gonna throw them in the cart. But you wasn't going to buy them originally because you either didn't have the money for them, they weren't what you were looking for, you didn't go to purchase those things, whatever your reason is. Would you rather spend $4 on free shipping and be able to put that other $20 towards investments, or go and get the $13.75 that turns into $25 in clothes or whatever items? I say clothes because this is Shein, but that's my point in thinking about the different decisions that you make. You'll be very shocked at very small decisions that you make, that once you make them consistently, then they become habits, and they become habits that make a difference. Because how many times are we faced with this free shipping dilemma in shopping? Now, sometimes it makes more sense because shipping is like very expensive, but Shein is famous for this. You want me to go spend $20 instead of spending $4, but it's because they know mentally it's all mindset. They know mentally people don't want to pay shipping. They want shipping to be free. So that's why they build it like that. So we're going to watch a commercial really quickly. Oh, right. And give up data. Yeah, it's always something. So we're going to watch a commercial really quickly. Let me remove this from the screen, and then I'm going to share this commercial and we're going to watch it together. And then we're going to have a brief conversation about it. Let me make sure it's up. It's up. Let me give it the solo screen, full screen layout. Bam.
Most popular toy for toddler, $500. Most popular stuffed animal for toddler, $350. Most popular picture book for toddler, $60. Watching her play with a cardboard box instead, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Now, how many of you all remember that commercial? How many of you all remember that commercial? First time seeing it? So basically in the commercial, they're letting you know that you don't need to spend the money that you're spending. Exactly. It's basically saying you're spending money that you don't need to spend. They boldly, blatantly telling you that you're spending money that you don't need to spend. And anybody who has a child, they know that it's a very real, yes, like LaToya said, brilliant ad, because it's so right. It's so true. You buy your kids all these toys, you buy them all these things, and they play with them for 2 seconds. And then they go off and on their own thing. And this applies to different parts of your life, and it applies to different things. But the reality of it is, if they are bold enough to make a commercial and let you know that you don't have to spend, exactly, the kids don't care. But it's like that in life. You sometimes spend money that don't need to be spent. And I definitely believe it's a need to feel the balance. Like, I don't feel like, oh, you shouldn't spend anything for yourself. I feel like you should have rewards in your budget. We talked about that on the Money Moves webinar. I feel like anytime you don't put something in there that's a reward for you or something that you enjoy, you're going to feel deprived, and it's going to cause you to have like a splurge or overload. And I don't think that's financially healthy. And I don't think that will help you really accomplish your goals, especially for long term. If you're at the point where you're frustrated with your finances now, that means it's going to be a journey for you to get to your goals. So going that length of time without having any Uber Eats, any restaurant food, any vacations, any spa treatment, like, it's not realistic in my eyes. And that's not how I teach personal finance. I teach that you got to have rewards built into your budget. I have a whole chapter in my book that says life is short, get the Uber Eats. And it's basically saying build something in your budget that gives you a reprieve. It's something that gives you like a sensation, and it has to be based on what your values and motivations are. But let's get back to it. So let me bring it back up here. Okay, so free shipping. Now we talked about it. We understand a simple mindset shift can adjust the way that we do things. We just watched that commercial, and in the sense of like that commercial, when we start to cut down that unnecessary spending, you start directing that money into things that actually help you build wealth. Instead of subscriptions, or you forgot about, or impulse buys, that money can go towards saving. That money can go towards investments. That money can go towards paying off debt. It's about turning your smaller wins into big ones. Because the less you fall for these marketing traps, the more you're aware of these marketing traps, the better you have the ability to leverage your money for you. Okay? Now we're going to keep moving because I want to be respectful of your time, but let's get into actually leveraging the money that you currently have. So when it comes to investing, This is why you can't afford to wait. So compound interest, which we will talk and I will break down a little bit later, is your best friend when it comes to investing. Time. So, okay, compound interest is going to be one of the best tools that you can use when it comes to investing. I would say your best friends is going to be time is your first best friend. That's your BFF on the left side. You're going to have a BFF on the right, a BFF on the left. We're not doing angel and devil. We got two good ones on our sides, okay? And so looking at this example with just a 5-year difference. So this person started at the age 18. This person started at the age 23. They both had the same initial investment and they're both taking the money out at the age 65. Look how much of a difference 5 years make. Look how much of a difference 5 years make. This is why even if you start later and you try to double your initial, it's not going to equate the same as compound interest. When we look at the chart a little bit later, you'll be able to see it in action and see what compound interest looks like, and you'll get it better. But it's a simple concept. And a lot of times we hear a lot of terms like time horizon and slope, and the we hear all these different terms in bonds and stocks and index funds and ETFs and mutual funds. And so we get confused. And because we don't understand the different terms, and because we have our own trauma associated with money, we have our own fear, we have our guilt, we have our avoidance, it causes us to not even start. And that's one of the money mistakes that we make. We should start early, as early as possible. And even if you want to start with $10, you can open a brokerage account and put $10 in there and put $10 more. If you start with $10 every time you get paid, guess what? It will still compound. There is no rule that says, oh no, that's too little. We're not going to add interest to that amount. They're going to add interest to whatever you put in there. So don't be or feel ashamed or feel like you can't start with what you have now. An extra $5, an extra $10, you can definitely put that towards your investment. And so that's what I want to kind of break and dispel that myth, because it's holding a lot of people back from getting started. Yes, you have to educate yourself. Yes, but once you're educated and you're ready to jump in, don't you need money to jump in? So wouldn't it make sense to start that fund before, as opposed to waiting to after you've gained all the knowledge that you possibly can? And I'm going to give you a tool to use that you can use before you start actively investing, but we'll get to that. But I wanted to show you just in a simple forms, the difference time makes. Time makes a huge difference when it comes to your investing. Now, time is your first best friend. Your second best friend, consistency. Because it's one thing to start, but you have to keep doing it. And I need you to understand that consistency doesn't mean perfect. Consistency doesn't mean every single day on the day, like on white on rice. That's not what it means. Consistency simply means more often than not. So that means that, yeah, you might have didn't do it today. Maybe this whole month you had a rough month. You didn't get a chance to invest this month. But guess what? Next month, we back on it. That's what consistency means. It means that you continue to do it. It's not something that you just drop the ball on and you don't come back to. We drop the ball once and we get into this vicious cycle of beating ourselves up and putting ourselves down to the point where we talk ourselves out of investing in ourselves. And that's just not right. So one of the things that we have to work on and to do is getting this to that point where we're understanding that, yes, I made a mistake. Yes, I messed up. But guess what? I can keep going. I can keep doing it because this is something I'm doing to invest in myself. So that's one of the things you have to realize. When you're investing money for your future, you're investing in yourself. And while that might not be upright and tangible, you can't go wrong investing in yourself. You always going to be the prize. You're always going to be worth it. You're always going to be the best investment that you can make. Like I was asked that question. I just did a talk for Google, and that was the last question that we left on. They asked and they said, "Ho, what is the best investment that you've ever made?" And I said, in me. My best investment has been in myself. And so that's one of the things that we have to be mindful of and realize. So when it comes to investing, what are we investing in? So in your retirement account, in your individual retirement account, in your brokerage account, the two most popular that you will find and you will see are going to be stocks and bonds. And here is a breakdown of what they are. So bonds is going to be a loan to the government. It's going to be you giving them your money, loaning it to them to use. It's more stable. Remember when you were younger and some of us did, like we were bought like treasury bonds and you had to wait like 15 years or 10 years for them to mature. And so you're giving a loan to the government and you have the guarantee that, okay, I'm loaning you this money, this $50, this $100, this $5,000, and then you're going to give me my money back. You have a little bit more of I guess you could say it's a safer investment. It's not as volatile, it's safer, but safe also means that your reward is going to be safe, which means that the amount of money you get in return is also going to be safe. It's going to be much more conservative. So a conservative investor is somebody who doesn't take a lot of risk. They're very moderate. They're very mindful, very demure in how they invest. So they're not going to take on huge risk because they're scared that they're going to lose too much. Somebody who's retiring soon, they might want to make more conservative investments. If you're anywhere close to my age and you got 20 some years before you're about to retire, you might be able to take on more risk. But that's also going to take that self-awareness journey to figure out if that's something mentally you can handle. Some people can't handle that risk. Some people are not interested in taking on that risk. And that's something that you should know about yourself. And whatever the answer is, guess what? It's okay. Now, stocks is you getting actual ownership in a business. They're more volatile because that means that business don't do well, your stocks doesn't do well. And we all have seen this cancel culture that we live in. Somebody says something and now all of a sudden their stock is plummeting because somebody said the wrong thing and they caught it on videotape. So that's what makes stocks more volatile. But again, if it's taking you 20 years before you would be touching this money, you can kind of stick through like a best friend, y'all have y'all blowouts and you get back together and you blow out and you get back together. That's the same way you can treat the stock, okay? And you also can earn money through dividends when it comes to stock. So to explain that, I have more of I didn't draw. See, normally in my workshops, I draw this, but I decided to spare y'all of my wonderful, beautiful drawing skills that I have. So just think of the tree as a stock. So let's just say I have an apple orchard, and in my apple orchard, you purchase one tree. So you own that one tree, which is a portion of this whole apple orchard. Now, if you bought 50% of the trees in the orchard, guess what? You now have power in that orchard. Honestly, you would probably need to purchase 51%. So then now you own more of it than me. So now you have the power to make the decisions for this apple orchard. And if you want to cut this whole down, you got the power to do so because you own 51% of it. That's how stocks work. Stocks give you ownership in that company. The more stocks you own, the more percentage of ownership you have in that company. So in this example, the apples or the fruit from your tree are your dividends. And so you have two options. When your tree bears fruit, you have the option to one, you can pull the apples off, you can eat them, you can make apple turnovers, you can go make apple pie, you can go do whatever you want to do with them. Or you can plant them in the ground so that they can make you grow more trees. You see where I'm going with this? When you reinvest your dividends, you're helping your stock grow faster and earn more money. This is a way for you to use money that you didn't have to take out of your pocket and use it to put it in your fund and help it grow more without you having to put more money in there. Yes, you had to make the initial investment and that money came out of your pocket. But when you start getting those dividends as you continue to invest, those dividends will be able to be reinvested. Or if you want to, when you get older, or even now, up to you, you can choose to pull those dividends. So now you got another income coming in that's not necessarily from money that you took out your pocket, but this is your money still there growing and working, and these dividends are the fruits of your labor. So these are the type of things that you want to think about when you're thinking about investing or how you're going to invest. So those are stocks and dividends. This is a great analogy. Oh, thank you. I can get behind investing in me. Yes, investing in you. That baby, that's the best investment that you can possibly think of, because who better than you? Okay. And sometimes that also plays a role into our confidence. When we have confidence or self-esteem or things that we worry and lack, and that you might be working on, a lot of time that plays out in how we use our money also. So these are the type of things, like I tell people all the time, personal finance is personal because your personal finances are going to look different than the next person. And also it's a self-awareness journey. So it's something you're going to learn a lot about yourself, because when you're going through this process, you got to learn what motivates you. What do you find important? What do you value? It's the same way with the parent with their child. You have to find out what motivates your child, because you could have 5 different children and they have 5 different motivations, but you got to learn which one it has what motivation in order for you to parent accordingly. The same thing goes along with yourself. Okay. Now, when you have stocks and bonds, you can also put them together in what they call mutual funds. So going into the same analogy that we just had, let's imagine we have this space here. So if you see in the back, we have our trees. So those are our stocks back there. And these can be our different bonds. So essentially we have a mixture of stocks and bonds. And you see, we have all the beautiful flowers. We got pink, we got white, we got, I don't know if that's peach, orange, coral, I don't know, red. We have all these different colors. So if something happens and maybe this bush right here dies, we still have all these other bushes here. A mutual fund is a fund built up with multiple stocks and multiple bonds in it. Even though it's still an investment, it's something that has helped us stay safer. So yes, it has stocks in there, which we know are volatile, but guess what? It has a mixture of stocks in there. So if something happens to one stock, it does not affect the rest. Okay. And the next thing about it that's important is if something happens to one company and it fails, you're not going to lose all of your money. So it's a safer investment. It's a nice mixture. Of course, you still want to research whatever mutual fund you are investing in. Index funds, similar story. But regardless of what you're investing in, you want to look into what companies are in there and make sure they are the ones that you want to invest in. Okay. Now, looking at mutual funds, another benefit that I think is great about mutual funds is they have so many different ones. So you can diversify your income and say, I'm going to get this mutual fund. Then when I get paid again, I'm going to get that mutual fund. And you can build you a list of certain mutual funds that you want to invest in. And every time you put more into your brokerage account or your retirement account or your IRA, or whatever your investment vehicle is, then you can just put it to the next one. Okay, I did that one last time, I'm gonna do the next one. And as you continue to do that, they will all grow over time. But the goal is for you to maximize your risk versus your reward. So this is one of the very important aspects of investing, understanding that balance between your risk versus your reward. How much are you willing to risk? Because let's be real, your bigger the risk, the bigger potential reward, but it's also making smart choices, because that means that you also have the potential to lose. So that's one of the things that you definitely want to think about. Okay. When you are calculating your risk, because see, some people look at investing and they look at it as gambling. It's not gambling. It's taking calculated risk. Okay. We take calculated risk every time we leave the house. We take calculated risk, count on that job. We take calculated risk every single day. So we should also take calculated risk that will put us in a better situation. Okay. Because slow and steady, like I said, consistency, that's what's going to help you really build it. You have day traders who they trade all the time, you know, that buy low, sell high. You got to get up every morning and literally watch the stocks all day. You got to watch the news and keep up with who said what. And to me personally, it's a very emotional. And I don't think I have the bandwidth to be a day trader. I'm more of a long-term investor myself personally, but that's again something you have to evaluate with yourself. Do you want to take on day trading? Is that something that you want to do? You're definitely going to have to learn how to manage your emotions. You have to, because when things are going on and things are in the red or recessions, like realistically talk to somebody who is older in your family, ask them how many recessions they've been through. Recessions happen. They're going to continue to happen. It's along with the flow of the economy and it's a part of it. You know what I mean? So again, you have to look at when would I be touching this money? And if you're not going to touch it for another 20 years, a recession right now is not a reason for you to freak out and go grab all your money out. That's not necessarily a good plan. But like I said, be aware of your retirement age. When would you plan on touching this money? When would you plan on using this money? What is your strategy for this money at that point? How much money do you need to have as income in retirement? These are the type of questions that you have to ask yourself. And these are the type of things you will think about as you create your investment strategy, because you want to have a balance. You want to have a balance when it comes to this. You don't want to put all your money into one stock. You don't want to put all your money into one mutual fund. Diversify it around. Spread out your risk to keep yourself safer. Okay? So you can be conservative, but still invest in stocks at the same time, because you're definitely going to get a bigger return investing in stocks rather than bonds. But you don't want to open yourself up to the biggest amount of harm by putting all your money in one place. This is never a good idea. Okay. Now, I told you we was going to talk about compound interest. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to make this on the solo screen so you can see this. Yeah. So mutual funds is like index funds. It has stocks and bonds in it. So you would look into it and you can see which stocks, which bonds, everything that's inside it. And then you would be able to choose which one works for you. Index fund, same principle. So let me put this on the full screen layout. So this is an example of compound interest. Compound interest is basically the interest compounding on top of each other. So if you look at simple interest, you see each year you just get the same amount of interest, baby. The first year you got 1,000, the next year you got another 1,000, the next year you got another 1,000, and so on and so forth. You didn't get anything extra. This right here is compound interest, and this is why it's your best friend when it comes to time. So using that example that we had before, let's just say you didn't start investing till year 5. You would have missed out on $6,000 already. And this is $6,000 that you're now going to be gaining interest on that you would have missed out. So not only are you missing out on that $6,000, you will be missing out on the interest that would accrue on that $6,000 for the rest of the time. That's what shows you what the real beauty, gem, love of compound interest is. Think of it in the sense of student loans. With student loans, the way that they have been growing, the way that people are paying on their student loans, but they can't seem to catch up on them, that's compound interest at work at its finest. So think about that in the aspect of, or the mindset of, what if that money was invested and I had that money growing for me, and I had that money being invested for me as opposed to being paid to the student loan? That's the way your money will be growing, the same way theirs is. That's why they don't want to let them student loans go. It's a big money maker, the amount of interest that they accrue alone. So today we just talked about one type of investing, which is investing into stocks, but there are really many different ways that you can invest. You can invest in real estate, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, precious metals, arts, antiques, collectibles, all of the above. So I have one more thing that I want to show you. There is a simulator on investopedia.com. And this simulator basically allows you to play with stocks. So when you first go on it, you're going to have to create your account. So you put your name in, your username, your password, create a password, and then it's going to take you to this screen right here. So this screen is the beginning of you starting to invest. And so they give you $100,000 for you to invest in virtual cash. And you take this money They show you what your real portfolio will look like. You'll be able to look at how the stocks are growing. You'll be able to invest in real stocks from the market, except you'll be using the simulator. And if you want me to, I can put this in the chat. So, and they have games on here for you to play, but this is a great way for you to start investing while you're preparing yourself, while you starting to save your money to invest, while you're starting to build. And this is something that can help you get over if you have a fear of investing. It can help you feel more comfortable. See, they even have Learn right here, where you have classes you can take: Introduction to Stocks, Stock Trading Basics, Managing a Portfolio. So there are resources out here that are available to you to use to help you do this. You don't have to do it alone. We have resources, and it is stuff it's literally made for you to be able to play with. So I'm going to put that link in the chat after. Let me bring my presentation back up. Bam. And then let me put that link in the chat for you if anybody wants to use it. But it's a wonderful tool for you to use and play around with. And it's something you also can share with your children and let them play with it. But it's a great resource that we all should use, and it'll help you get more comfortable with investing. So for me, I think that education is one of the biggest weapons we can use against fear. Because once you get more knowledgeable about something, you start to feel more comfortable with it. You ever had somebody ask you a question about something that you felt very knowledgeable about? Or had somebody, and you just like, you able to rattle it off like boop, boop, boop. I can do this. I can do that. Like, because you're confident in it. You're well-versed in it. You know about it. So as you get more well-versed in investing, some of that fear will start to subside. And then you're going to have other people start to ask you questions. And as you teach more people, you're going to retain more information. So that's why these things are very important. And it is knowledge. It is something great that I'd recommend everybody do if you're looking to learn how to invest. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Now, when I get to this point of it, typically people ask me like, okay, this all sounds great. I feel pumped up. Let's go. I'm ready. But the question is, okay, like, how do I start? Where am I supposed to start from? So one thing I will say before you're jumping and just going off into different financial goals, you should definitely work to focus on mastering the basics. This is where a lot of people get stuck because they try to move forward and they jump over a whole bunch of steps and they don't have a solid financial foundation. And so regardless of whether you want to be a real estate mogul, if you want to be a billionaire, millionaire, hell, 100,000-aire, it's going to be very important for you to master budgeting and having a real good command over your finances. At the very least, you need to know exactly where your money is going. More importantly, how to keep it from all going to bills, especially with the rate that everything is going now. Because yes, we're sitting in a situation in an economy where everything is rising and the cost of everything is rising. But realistically, we know in 5 years, it's only going to go up. So we have to start doing things to take control now, or otherwise, where will we be in 5 years? 10 years, it's not going to get better. So we have to start to see what steps need to be taken so that we can get our financial foundation intact and we can leverage and level up our finances. It's time to be intentional. It's time to be intentional and walk in your purpose with every dollar that you make. And even when it comes to you spending and splurging, you can plan a splurge. You can plan to spend money on things. Okay, the first step to leveraging your finances is learning how to save, because building that discipline to consistently save your money, building that discipline to be okay with money sitting in your account and to shift the way, like I've had, like, okay, so I teach home ownership and I've had people come to me and say, oh, well, you don't need to save all that money they have options out there that you can get a house without saving all of that money. And that's very true. But the reality is it's not just about saving the money. And that's one thing I want you all to understand or realize. Money is just a tool in all of this. It's never just about the money. The discipline, the money habits, and the self-awareness that you enlighten yourself with while you're learning how to save money to build up that money for that house is what's going to help you keep that house. It's what's going to help you stay in that house. It's what's going to help you when you're in that house and life get the life in and things happen and go wrong. You'll have the tools and the knowledge to be able to pull yourself back up. You'll be able to handle your own lifeboat. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what it's about. It's not just about, oh, well, just save a lot of money. It's the discipline and the money habits that you create while you're going through that process. Okay. So the first step to leveraging your finances, like I said, is learning how to save. But when you can control your spending, you can stash money to the side, you open up opportunities that you can have growth. And that growth can be investing, it can be paying off your debt, it can be building for your future, because when you pay off debt, you give yourself an automatic pay raise. At the end of the day, having a solid command over your finances is what's going to allow you to turn your goals into a reality. The goal isn't just to get back. We've been getting back. We've been surviving, and we're ready to start thriving. So we've laid the foundation today. We talked about knowing where your money is going and mastering budgeting, but leveraging your savings and leveraging the money that you already have. And one key element it's going to take you from just managing your money to actually building wealth is going to be that mindset. It's going to be that mindset. And with that in mind, I have a course called the Mindset to Millions course. This course is a 3-part course. It has debt detox, which helps you learn how to master the art of paying off debt and what type of interest is applied to what types of debt so that you can build an actionable strategy to pay off your debt. It actually talks about the different strategies also so that you can pick which one works for you. Then we got budget brilliance and being mindful with our money. So this is getting into that mindset piece. This is showing you that, for one thing, people don't know that there are different ways to budget. It's not a one fix all. It's not a one hit wonder. There are several different ways to budget. So I show you, like, live demonstration, different types of budgeting, what they look like so that you can apply them to your finances. And because I always tell you what not to spend money on, I give you an example of a great way to spend money. Those who know me know I love to travel. And people always ask me questions about how I travel so much, some of them in a nice way, some of them in a rude, nosy, minding my money way when they should be minding their own business. But I digress. So I have been to about over 30 countries at this point. I show you how I do just that without breaking the bank. And so in the last course or module, whatever you want to call it, it's called Travel and Thrive. So I show you how I find good price tickets on Google Flights. I show you the exact process with live screenshots. But I got an extra bonus for y'all too. If you want the premium package and you decide to sign up today, you'll get a free one-on-one 30-minute session. And that'll be a personalized coaching session from me to address your own unique financial situation. And then I'll throw 2 free investing courses from my video library to help you start to build your confidence and grow wealth. So the goal of this is to help you unlock a premium package. And this is only being offered on this webinar. This is not going to be emailed to anybody. It's not going to be posted online. This is something I'm giving to those people who you just decided to show up for yourself today and invest in yourself. So just to go through it one more time, we got 3 parts to the Mindset to Millions course. We got debt detox, budget brilliance, and mindful money. And then we got Travel and Thrive. And this is a picture of me. Actually, this year I was in Guadalajara. They have this train by Jose Cuervo, and it goes to the town called Tequila. It is a great experience. I highly recommend it. I had a ball. But again, something I planned. It was a very economical trip. This train ride probably was the most expensive thing that I spent on that trip. And it's not a like use points. I literally I walk it like I talk it. That's the best way that I can explain. But I show you a lot of those things in my course so that you can do the same things too. And with that, I'll go to the comments and I'll try to answer whatever questions you all have. And so, okay, hold on. Let me before I start, because I'm gonna get excited and start answering questions. So let me just scroll first and make sure that I answer questions. Um, so 2-part series. I hope your migraine is subsiding and feeling a little bit better, Toya. I was taught time equal money and do have more. I need to work more. I'm unlearning that. Okay, that's a very good point. And I feel like a lot of us have learned that. A lot of us have experienced that. And we think that and we're tired of trading time for money. We want to put our money to work too. We don't want to be the only one making money. We want our money to make money too. And time equal money might have been something that worked better in older economies, but looking at what the state of where we are now, it's just not feasible. We have to do better, because saving money alone, like back in the day, they just worked and they saved money and they was good. We can't do that, because when we save money, first of all, they don't put a lot of interest on our savings account. So you have to get a high yield savings account anyway. Secondly, the cost of everything, like it's just not possible for us to save our way to wealth like they used to be able to. So yes, I think unlearning that is a good idea, Latoya. Start my monthly budget already in the negative and spend a month looking for extra. Ooh, that's a good point. So you might have to look at what your current budget is, if there's things that you can subtract from your budget, and you might have to look into side hustles, something that you can use to fill that gap. But remember that a side hustle is something that's temporary. It's not something that you're going to build into your budget to have all the time. But you might need to do it 90 days, 120 days to get yourself where you need to be. They're doing better. Yeah, I feel like we all have that 2 steps forward, 1 step back situation. I think it's just a part of growth. It's a part of the process. And I feel like you truly appreciate it better after you have done that. So still going through the questions to see which ones I didn't comment on, because it's not tangible. Okay, I talked about that one. That's what it's also what I cut first when my money is low. So when I get a little coin, I want a new serum or a quote unquote house thing. And so that's just a mindset for you to work through. That's just a mindset for you to work through. And like, what is your new house thing? Like, looking at what mindset you have about what a treat is for you can change your life. So maybe there's something for you to start exploring. And again, it's not something that might happen overnight. It's something that you might have to start being mindful and catching yourself when you do it. And even look at your triggers. What triggers you to have to go get that house thing or that new serum? What is the trigger that causes you to do it? You might have to look there. Okay. So you need to start to issue believing that you need to have a lot of money. Okay, we just talked about that. I'm sharing this one. Yeah, share with your sons. Absolutely. That's one thing. So the course is online and it's on demand. So the course is on demand, so you can take it at your leisure, and then you get access. I have a Facebook group, so I'm in that group active every day, and I'm there to answer your questions. But the course is on demand, so it's pre-recorded. That's how I can offer it at a excellent rate, because if I had to actually give it, every time, I wouldn't be able to give it at that price. But it's 3 modules. Like I said, the way that it's listed, and each module has like homework. So you have worksheets that you have to complete as a part of each module. It's $47 for just the course by itself. It's $97 if you do the premium package. But if you scan this QR code right here, it'll take you to where you can choose whichever one you want. Yes, the course is online. I'm glad you still got on tonight too. I hope it was helpful. I have to head out, but okay, right. So yes, so I can send you the course and I can drop the link in the chat. See, I should have had it already copied. Bit.ly mindset 2. And so hopefully that's right. So that should be it. So That should be able to do. So if you all have any more questions, I'm here to answer them. Let me know if you have any more questions. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I hope the information was helpful and it was able to give you all like a, shift a little mindset. Like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, but sometimes you just need to plant that seed and show you little things and make you a little bit more aware of little shifts that you can make. So the first course is $47. That's the course by itself. Let me go back to my screen. So the first course is $47 and that one's by itself. The $97, you get the course and then you get a free one-on-one, which is basically us doing a budget session and we look at your unique financial situation. And then I'm going to put two investing courses basically in your. So when you sign up for my course, you have like your own portal. And so any courses of mine that you are enrolled in will go inside that portal. So I'll put two investing courses in there. And these are same type of like this is today. It's conversations that I've had, and they're not only with me. So they're with people who teach investing. So you'll get perspectives from different people who are experts in this field that you'll be able to get questions answered. Because a lot of times what I do when I do my live sessions with guests, I get the questions that people want the answers to, and then I go on and answer them live. So that's what you would get for the $97. So you would get the course with the 3 modules and these two. Now for the $47, you get this course and you get the 3 parts to it, basically. Just the 3 modules. $97, you get the 3 modules plus 30-minute one-on-one, and then the 2 investing courses. She said, yes, thank you so much. This was great. I'll be reaching out soon. Oh, you have a great night too. I hope that your head feels better, because I know I hate to have a headache myself personally. So I appreciate you staying on here with the headache. Like, that's truly showing up for yourself. Hands down, that's definitely you showing up for yourself. Do we have any more questions? Okay, well, it seems like nobody else has any questions. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. You are welcome. You all have a wonderful night. I appreciate you all spending your Tuesday evening with me. I'm glad that it was helpful and informative, because that's ultimately my goal, to just break some things down in simple terms. That's why we're here. So on that note, I'm going to head out. Again, if you want to sign up for the course, please just let me know. And I will hope you have a wonderful day.